As we await Black Ops 7 marketing, we linked up with the legendary Kingman to go inside the mind of a world record holding speedrunner. Stay locked for episode 14 of Perkaholics Anonymous Podcast.
What's up, Clutch Squad, and welcome back to the Perkaholics Anonymous Podcast for episode 14 of the show. Today, MZC and I are bringing you another special guest. He has some of the fastest hands in the Call of Duty Zombies community, as he is a world record speedrunner, a YouTuber, and a voice of one of the most passionate fan bases in gaming. From shaving off minutes for Easter egg quests to holding multiple top times across Black Ops 6 and beyond, his name is synonymous with pushing the zombies mode to the absolute limit. Kingman, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, MZC, we're going to get into it real quick, though. How you feeling? Good?
I'm locked in, man. I'm super excited for this episode. The past few guests that we've had on, I feel like are more of your talking heads, right? But we wanted to go with something special. We wanted to do more of an interview style episode here for Kingman, kind of get in your head, ask you some questions about like your background, what got you into this kind of stuff. And then, obviously we'll get into like general talk and what you want to see happen in BO7, but I'm doing good, man. I'm locked in for this.
Good. And yeah, I think that's the best way to put it, honestly. I think what Kingman does is interesting. A lot of the community likes watching it, and I think a lot of people are into speedrunning. I've been into speedrunning, watching it casually since Cold War. We're not experts at it, so we brought in the experts, and we're going to talk to Kingman here today. But first, Kingman, let's start here. Before we dive in, take us back into the history and kind of the lore behind Kingman. What was the first Call of Duty Zombies map you ever loaded up, and what jumped off the page? What hooked you in? What made you fall in love with the mode?
All right, so let's go all the way back to 2008, shall we?
Okay.
6-year-old me, for some reason I was 6 years old playing this, but Knocked Duron Tone, the OG Knocked, was my first ever experience playing COD Zombies. And I don't know if it was like at launch or that war. Probably wasn't. I was 6 at the time, but I think my first like actual real memory of playing zombies was my family and I were on a trip to North Carolina to visit family, and we had like a little like mini TV in the car that my mom was driving, and I just remember playing co-op with, it was me and my brothers. We were just playing zombies, Knocked Duron Tone, while we were driving down south or wherever it was. So that's like my first big memory playing zombies as a whole. I've been there since the very beginning, basically most of my life, if not just about my entire life that I can think of, has been playing zombies. I've been taking breaks here and there. Obviously, I was like, was it 2016, 2017? I really didn't play at all. And then basically just jumped like 2018 is when I started YouTube. So in 2018, it was ZWC2 around summer. BO4 is just about to be announced, or it has been announced. It's coming out soon, and that's basically what got me started with speedrunning and like the hardcore aspect of zombies. Because before then, I was really just casual. Like, I didn't really play for world records. I didn't really play for high rounds. I was very casual with it, and I think the big thing that I guess motivated me or like allowed me to play it was ZWC. I saw Chopper get first place in ZWC 2. I just really loved the competitive aspect behind zombies, at least what it could be. Now, granted, it was BO3. It's kind of, I'm not saying like it's not competitive. Like BO3 is very competitive, but it was very much in its infancy, so it wasn't too much to go off of. So, like, we've all watched Steve, Scotty, i3. Like, those are like the pioneers, as I like to say, like the foundations of speedrunning zombies. So, BO4 comes out. I started Blood of the Dead, 9, Voyage, the 3 launch maps. I didn't really get anywhere with them initially, but the first big thing wasn't even speedrunning that kind of got me on the radar in the community. It was the 9 Easter egg on realistic difficulty, where it was one hit and you die. So it wasn't even, it's kind of funny. I've been doing speedrunning on this for a long time, but it's kind of ironic how speedrunning wasn't the actual thing that got me on the map. It was just playing the map for 2 hours straight unrealistic. Now, granted, it's very impressive what I did. It still kind of is, but it's just kind of ironic in my eyes.
Yeah, dude, the hardcore mode for BO4 is insane. I didn't know that was kind of what launched you into, I guess, like, maybe not, you were doing content creation before that, but like kind of launched you into the stratosphere in the community. But nowadays, dude, your channel's really grown into like the central hub for speedrunning. I know you kind of mentioned like watching all the OGs and kind of getting into ZWR and all that stuff is what got you into like this whole world. But was there like one moment where you were like, dude, I just had this, like, I mean, I know right there what you said with the, you know, hardcore 9, but was there like a speedrunning moment where you were like, this is what clicked for me, this is like why I want to do this? Like when you were doing Black Ops 4 stuff originally, were you even thinking about that, or was it just something like later down the line that you were like, okay, listen, I can really get into this?
I think just seeing ZWC, like I said before, was kind of like what motivated me to start YouTube and all that stuff. But at the time, I was 16 years old. I was still in high school. I was a sophomore, so I'm like, I'm still like trying to figure life out while also doing this on the side whenever I can. Because before, like the first setup, I guess I'll say for YouTube was I was on the Xbox One. The only way I got footage was through the the Twitch app on Xbox. And then like I actually streamed all my runs. I think I maybe had 2 or 3 viewers the entire time, one of them being me, and then probably some random bots or something. I don't know, but yeah. And the highest quality I could record in was 720p, 30 frames per second. So like, I actually have 2 channels now. I have my old channel. We'll get into like some like the history of it soon, but I have a new channel now that I started last October because I took a 2-3 year hiatus after Vanguard came out, and where was I going with it? But yeah, it's just kind of funny how like 16-year-old me playing zombies, speedrunning zombies, kind of starting, and then now I'm here. Was it on a new channel 7 years later, still kind of doing the same thing, but like I'm trying to incorporate some new stuff into it. Like on my speedruns, like I have those intros at the start of my videos, kind of fun little intro, and then I try to like edit certain things in as I can. I feel like I'm probably like completely going off topic here, but it's just fun to kind of reflect on it.
No, I love that, and the way that you edit is so unique to speedrunning, I feel like, and I'm not really sure because I'm not too deep in your guys' neck of the woods in terms of the community, but like when I do watch your speedruns, and I've seen you before, like just the way that you've put a lot of time into like the presentation of the editing of it, rather than just having like your base footage of the run is super cool. Did you ever think you'd get to this point at all, or was it just like you start out as a passion and then one day it just kind of like something flips where you're like, okay, I can actually make a career out of this and I can become one of the best at what I do?
It's still a passion. Like this is not my full-time gig. This is I have a job outside of this. Like this is all just free time. Like I consider myself a workaholic. Like I get home from my day job, I'm immediately working here. Like I take breaks here and there, go to the gym when I can, whatever, but like it's not my full-time job. In a perfect world, I'd love for this to be my full-time job. I'd have a lot more free time, a lot more freedom with my hours. Basically, just pick and choose when I want to do certain things. But it's still very much a hobby. Like I enjoy the hell of this because I don't feel beholden to do this full time. It's still a hobby. I'm still doing it whenever I can. I don't have to force hours on myself to do this necessarily.
I got you. Yeah, that's what a lot of people, I feel like, in maybe like all of YouTube, but especially the zombies community, it seems like people that end up going full time, you have these stories of people that go really, really hard for like 2 or 3 years and then have like a massive burnout period where they just upload so much content in a short amount of time and they either have like a crash out or they just stop uploading altogether and step away for months, years, or just never come back. But yeah, I actually like your mentality there of kind of just being like, you know, I like what I do and I like having this so I don't have to be completely locked into this every single day, because I could see where it'd probably get frustrating if like you get to a point where you have maybe like an unbeatable run and you're just sitting there beating your head against the wall every single day trying to beat it just because you have to, or is this, like you said, is more of still a passion for you?
Oh, trust me, I've had those moments. Like just because it's a hobby doesn't mean I'm very, very passionate about this.
Right.
Like I'm very hardcore at times. Like maybe that's probably because I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I hold myself to a very high standard. It's like when I don't hit the expectations that I want, I just get pissed off, I guess is the best way to say it. Like, I'm very aware that I do get pissed off a lot in my videos from time to time, but I think that's one of the things I'm going to try to, like, do better with the BO7 is just kind of control my temper a bit. Because it's stressful just sitting here, bashing my head against a wall, staring at a screen for hours, but yeah, it is what it is, I guess.
So, Kingman, let's talk about, I think me and MZC are interested kind of in this part of what you do the most, but like the craft of speedrunning. So on speedrun.com, you have the first place times for maps like Citadel, Terminus. Can you walk us through what goes into shaving off time in a run? Like if you had to pick from just like pure skill, being good at the game, hours of practice, or just, innovating and finding a strategy that no one else saw during their runs, what do you think is kind of your biggest focal point when you're trying to shave time off some of your runs?
That's a loaded question. But
everything, right? Is that what you're gonna say?
Yes and no. Every map's different, right? Like the foundation of like speedrunning a map is like the idea of it is the same. Finish an Easter egg as soon as possible, but how you do that, how you figure that out is different for every single map. Let's say for like, since I'm mostly playing BO6, let's go for Terminus. It's a pretty basic map. There's really no like crazy tech or anything, crazy tricks or anything. It's really just finish the map as quick as you can. There's like some round management, obviously, but the main thing is just finish the egg. And then we have something like Citadel, where you have 4 elemental swords, you have 4 incantations, you have a few steps here and there you optimize, figure out route. That map was really tough to like learn, optimize. It took us, I think, a good few weeks to really, and I say we because it's a community effort. Like me, Freckleston, Scrappy, FPS Clash, like everyone's been playing iMac as well. It's a community effort with us. Like we try to figure out what works best. Like, yeah, we copy strats a lot. That's just the way it is. But from time to time, I'd say from time to time, we find something new, we figure out it works, and then we reroute, at least in terms of Citadel, for instance, on that map. Because I think it took us a good month, I think, to really optimize that map. That was probably the most complex map in BO6. It still is, in terms of like routing. But, so that map, I say, it's a lot of routing. And I think something like Shattered Veil, it's still a lot of like routing, a lot of tech, yes. But I think I can definitely say, because I have the record in Shattered Veil still, I'm the only one with a 21-minute run on it, solo. There's a lot of skill involved. It wasn't. That's not to say every other map in BO6 doesn't take skill. They definitely do. But from my experience, I think outside Reckoning, Shattered Veil is probably the most difficult speedrun, because there's so much like intricate tricks that you need to incorporate in that run. Like there's double abomination, shoot 2 rocks at the same time. There's a frenzied guard optimization. You have to use your Gersh device during plants. It's 4-on-1 plants, for instance, right? But every map is different. Every map plays differently. Every map has to be learned differently. So I can't really say for certain which way works best. It's really just situational. I'd say it's probably the best way to describe it.
And if there's people out there, listening to this, interested in the art of speedrunning, what you do on a day-to-day basis over at your channel, what would you tell them if they're brand new, getting into it? What is like the characteristics? What should like a brand new speedrunner who's trying to get into this niche of the community, what would you tell them to expect?
I would not put any expectations on anything. Just play the map, learn the maps, play at your own pace. It's a lot like golf. It's like you're not really going against anyone else. Like if you're going for WR, yes, you're going against someone else. But if you're going against like just say a benchmark, right? Like in golf, it's like a par 5. You kind of want to go like first 5 or 6. You're not going against anyone else with that. That's your own pace. Like you want to get there at your own pace. Like eventually, you want to get down to like a birdie or an eagle, like a 3 or 4 on a par 5. I'd say golfing and speedrunning, in terms of like the competitive aspect of it, is very similar. No, granted, if you're going for like PGA, WR, different story. You're kind of competing against other people. But if you play at your own pace, if you're playing by yourself, kind of go for like your own benchmark. Don't compare to others. Now granted, you want to like look at the best of the best, see what they do. Don't try your best to copy it, but really try to understand why things are happening. Don't just necessarily copy it and just expect things to work. Like they can work, but you'll be much more consistent if you understand why things are happening, when they happen, and why it's happening again. But again, just work at your own pace, and you'll see results much faster than you would comparing against WR, for instance.
That's actually a crazy analogy. I never really thought about it like that, because what I feel like a lot of creators, especially in the zombie space, do is like everybody's constantly competing with each other, especially when like a map comes out to get content out. Yeah, exactly. Who's to get the guides out, get the Easter egg done. Yeah, like that's where. Yeah, exactly. No, exactly. So I wonder, like, what do you do when a map first comes out? Are you just like trying to beat the Easter egg too for the first time, like everyone else, because you want to hurry up and develop a strategy as fast as you can, or are you kind of like sit back and watch other people? Do you just hop on and have some fun? Like, what's the ideal like DLC day or launch day look like for you as a speedrunner?
It's basically, I think day one launches, everyone's in the same boat. Speedrunner or not, it's kind of like a community thing. We just want to go for worlds first because it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know people take it more seriously than others. Me, I personally don't mind it. I kind of just play into the fun of it. So like, oh, worlds first. Oh, I have to get this. Like, honestly, deep down, I really don't care about worlds first. There's no actual incentive to do it. It's not like Destiny 2 where you get a raid belt, where like it takes months for them to ship it out. But I think Easter egg day one's really just everyone's in the same position. We're all going in blind. We all know what to expect. I mean, granted, some people play early, especially on day one maps. Like, especially on launch maps, people have like COD Next play the maps early. But in terms of the Easter egg hunt, we're all kind of in the same exact position. So you don't really like think about speedrunning until after the map is solved. Like, you obviously think like, oh, like I can't wait to speedrun it, but like you don't know you're gonna speedrun until you actually play the map. So yeah, I think it's just fun for like, was it the 8 to 12 hours, whatever it is. We're all kind of just in the same position, trying to learn the map, understand the map, and then we speedrun it. So yeah,
I like that. Another question we have for you is like, since you've been in the community since you were an OG, like you played Nocturne and Toad, and granted you were pretty young. I was pretty young too. So like thinking back to that, like first of all, like it's crazy that like we're playing these games when we were kids, like that young,
that's
right?
crazy.
Like,
I can't believe
around.
our parents let us do this.
I know. I always think back to that too, because me and my I'd go over to my neighbor's house, and even like when we were way younger, like I was like 3 or 4 playing like Ghost Recon and stuff, and just thinking back to like, I don't know if I let my kids do that, but I don't know. But you've been in the community since Noct, literally World at War. Which era do you think has been the golden age for the speedrunning, for zombie speedrunning, and why? Or do you think we're not even there yet? Because I know like nowadays you have Omni movement, you have PhD slider, you have the ability to kind of like zip around the map and get things done really quickly. But like, do you think that like maybe BO3, I know you're a fan of BO4 right now, or do you think we're not even there yet?
I was saying like in terms of like popularity of the speedrun, or like in terms of the enjoyment of it.
Let's do both. Let's start with like, do you think like we're in a golden age for popularity? Because I know like it's very popular to watch on YouTube right now, but as well as like, what do you think like the ideal game has been to speedrun to?
I think in terms of like popularity across the entirety of zombies, I think BO3 is still the golden age. Like, granted, I wasn't speedrunning at the time. I was still casual, just watching streams, watching Noah stream Revelations, like 250,000 people. But I'd say like the golden age, I say, is probably like Steve speedruns on BO3 Chronicles. I think we're getting close to that now. Like, granted, the communities, I don't think it's anywhere as big as it was during BO3. But I think speedrunning now is just much more mainstream. I wouldn't say it's like as big as it was during BO3, but it's definitely significantly more mainstream now than it was before, because it seems like there's a lot more mainstream competition. Like before, it was just Steve was the big YouTube channel. Like, I know there's some, I can't really think at the top of my head, but I'd say like with BO3, mostly BO4, and a little bit of Cold War, I'd say it was mostly just Steve, right?
Right.
Like, I started BO4 with Blood of the Dead, 9, all that. I'd say like my first big break though with spearing was probably Firebase Z, when I started really streaming. Like, I know people definitely watched it, begin to raid Kill the Box, whatever, but I'd say Firebase Z and Malware were probably my big break. I know I'm segueing from the main topic, but in terms of like the golden age, again, BO3 definitely with Steve. Like, he is, I don't want to say the pioneer of like speedrunning and zombies. I think he's the foundation of mainstream speedrunning and zombies, but I know there were people before him who were definitely speedrunning. It's just off the top of my head, from what I can remember, Steve is like the guy that I think of when it comes to like big picture zombie speedrunning, right? So it's really fun to reflect on that and just kind of look where it was before versus where it is now, where it's much more mainstream. Not necessarily as big, but much more mainstream now.
What was your best time on Firebase Z?
I was gonna ask him that because I knew you. I knew where you were going with this.
I actually don't remember. I think I played like 2 years ago. I think I have like a 22, 23. It's not record anymore, but
the only reason I asked is because Firebase Z is like, I have this weird affinity for Firebase Z because that's really the only map I ever, when I say loosely, like I'm using air quotes here, like tried to speedrun, is because when Firebase Z came out, me and MZC were in college, and I would just like, if I had time in between classes, it was like a relatively quick map. All of them seem pretty quick if you're elite like yourself, but I would just have a basic timer up, nothing like a Google timer, no splits or anything, like totally unserious. But I literally have a screenshot on my computer right now that I have labeled Firebase Z Easter egg PR, and mine was 28 minutes and 17 seconds. So I just thought that was funny because that map was so linear. And don't get me wrong, it did have its issues and did have its bugs, and you could like lose runs on that, which I'm sure you can on a lot of maps, but especially with the mimic step, if you were a novice like myself and you didn't know how to make sure that they ran right over where you needed them to run. But yeah, it's just so funny because Firebase Z, one of my all-time like favorite maps, just because I would sit there and I was like, okay, I have an hour in between classes. I know I could maybe get like 2 good runs of this in, because I knew my time would be like around like 30 minutes, but that's so funny that you bring that up.
Yeah.
MZ, did you speedrun any? Have you ever sped run a map before? Anything? Any dabbling?
Dude, I did Moon pretty heavily last summer, I think. I can't remember my time. I think I cracked top 10 for Gobblegums.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
But outside of that, not on the level of like, I mean, when I would do like the supers, it would just be for fun for BO3, but like I wasn't doing any of these crazy tricks in Shadows of Evil where I'm using beast mode to its full potential. Like my best speed run is like get everything done on the map the way that like almost they would intend you to do it, but I never got like too crazy into it, aside from when you and I were doing Tomb. We actually had 2-player Tomb world record for like 2 or 3 days. We were competing for it, and then eventually we just stopped. But yeah,
Ultra Gums, of course.
Ultra Gums, of course. Yeah,
minus $11.
Yeah, $11 every run. Have to restart when you don't get the ice staff after the first like 2 or 3 box pulls. But yeah, no, it's dude, I have so much respect for what you guys do, because like I don't think I could. I mean, like I could try, but you guys just go into such detail and like such perfection with every run. Like I was watching you and Freckleston do the 2-player on Reckoning a couple weeks ago, and just like you would get to the last second, you would lose your time by like 2 seconds, and then immediately just back out, go to the menu, and like get right back into it, like no downtime at all whatsoever. Like you guys are probably so wound up and just locked in all the time to be able to do that without even like taking a breather, or just like let's just get right back to it. So the mental side of speedrunning is crazy. You guys, I have so much respect for what you guys do.
I think at that point we were just pretty consistent. Like every single time we were on the same pace, and we just needed a little bit extra to get to that last point. So honestly, we were just chilling. I think it's just because we're so desensitized to like the stress, air quotations, of speedrunning. Like we're kind of like just used to it now. Like we're not really. I guess we do have moments where like we have to lock in. Like this is a really good run, but I think like co-op, it's like more fun. Like we were streaming. Like I think a couple thousand people watching consistently on YouTube at least. But we're more so just like chilling. I think yeah we locked in with Mad most, but like in terms of like the actual run, we were kind of just going with the flow, having fun with it. Yeah, we're still playing hard, but we're still definitely just kind of having fun with it.
Do you guys get nervous, or do you get nervous when you're on like a run that you know you're on pace to potentially beat, and you go into the boss fight, and let's say there's 1,200 people watching or whatever, or even if you're just not even streaming and you're doing it yourself, do you ever start to kind of get like, not like you're sweating or like you're shaking or anything, but just like in the back of your mind be like, oh, like I gotta really lock in here, and like you sit up and you're kind of like tweaking out a little bit? Or are you just like so desensitized to it now where you just, it's cool, it's whatever, you're not even really thinking too much about it?
Well, I definitely have moments like when I know I'm on, like after a map's been out for a few weeks and I'm on a really good run after it's been fully optimized, I'm like, okay, this probably isn't gonna be optimized much more. I'm not gonna make chances to do this. I need to lock in. It's like, there's definitely moments. Me saying that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It definitely happens to all of us. But I think we're kind of just, we've gone through it so many times now over the last, I guess, year now, let's say, just for reference. But yeah, it's just fun to go through, I guess. Maybe I'm a masochist. Maybe I enjoy the thrill of it. Maybe I'm a adrenaline junkie, but
Yep.
yeah, I enjoy it definitely. But again, I'm a perfectionist. I hold myself to a higher standard, like I said before. So if anything bad happens, I'm not happy. So yeah, it's fine to go through it.
It is interesting though how you equated it to golf earlier, because and what MZC was just saying, you know, if a run is, if you know the run isn't going to be good and you back out and you have to hop right back into it, you can't let that carry over, and you can't have those thoughts follow you into the next run, or you're not going to be focused for the next run. It is very similar to golf in that manner, or just, you know, a lot of other highly competitive sports, as you would expect, where it's like, hey, you have to just think about the next opportunity that you have to do this, even though you might have just hit a bad shot, you might have just messed up your last run. You have to move forward and get that out of your system, or it's going to, you know, linger. And I'm sure, like you said, it probably weighs on you a little bit. And I could see why, like, it's very easy to get pissed off doing what you do. But as far as Black Ops 6, just like in general, if you were to give from a speedrunner's perspective, if you were to give a grade for all the, you know, with this game being concluded, all the maps being out, optimization, as it seems like, you know, for all the maps, I don't know where you're at with Reckoning, if there's more time to be cut off or however it may be, but what grade would you give this title for speedrunning?
For speedrunning, I think I'll give it an 8.5. Personally.
Okay, so pretty good,
Yeah.
solid.
I think.
Was it a 9 before the Strauss counter change?
Or the Nathan block or whatever that is.
Don't get me started on that. Do not get me started.
No, we're going
on
there.
that.
We're going there. We're
That
going
sounds
there.
like you're started.
Okay. Honestly, I think before the update that came out last week, 8.5, 9. Now that you brought it up, maybe like a 6. Okay.
Oh man.
Maybe
Oh,
like
we
a
shouldn't have said
I was
anything. We
saying,
should have said anything.
You just went
man.
from a B to like a D. You just went from a B flat.
Okay, look, I have a very abusive relationship with this game in terms of speedrunning.
What about the gobble gums not
abusive.
really working?
It's like,
Does that ever affect you? Yeah.
what is it? Like day one, you guys can probably attest to this. Day one BO6 was so good. It was so much fun. Nothing was broken. Things worked perfectly. Then first update, a week later, the tack sprint breaks for 2 weeks. You can't reload while sprinting. You can't really tack sprint half the time. You guys remember that?
Yeah, I actually do remember that. Yeah.
That was the first big issue. Then we get, what is it? The Sam voice changed. We had a quote skip we could do. That had to be readjusted. It took a few months to figure that out. And then they patched the wire dupe on Terminus. I'm like, okay, that's fine. It took over a month and a half to do it, basically. It's like, this would be a running like theme here, but it's like everything like cool that comes out, they keep, but then they eventually just patch it out after a few months. And it's like, why are we doing it after a few months when it hasn't affected anyone or anything? Like the quote skip on Terminus initially, for reference. That might have been because of the voice change, whatever, like from the voice actor. But legit, I think only Frecklestand and I were doing that at the time. I think Scrappy was playing a bit of Terminus, but mostly it was just maybe a few people actually using that quote skip. It wasn't affecting anyone, and then they just got rid of it. And then same with the wire dupe. It's like, what was the point? Like, I could go on for hours about this, but like, a general running theme, again, has just been, there's something cool we find, they keep it for a few weeks, and then they get rid of it. And half the time, it's not even in the patch notes. The only time this has actually been like in the patch notes as a mainstream thing was the shock charge skip on Terminus. That was the only time they actually reverted a patch. It still took them like 3.5 weeks to add back in. It was like January 3rd, and when they got rid of it. And then it was January 11th, the day we were doing the podcast with Milo. The whole reason we put it together was because of that patch, saying they're going to revert it. And then was on the tomb, was it January 28th, they added back in. So that's the only time they actually reverted it. But that's because the general outcry, the community, not even just spears, but the entire community was like, the map's been out for 3 months. Why are we getting rid of it now? Like, what? If it was the first week, fine, cool, whatever. It took 3 months for them to get rid of it. So it's just, it's been the same thing for the last 10 months.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Okay, just really quick. when that happens, does this void your guys' runs? Like, do you have to like basically void everything that you've uploaded to the world record sites because that stuff's no longer in the game? Or is it just like now you have a time that you can't physically beat because it was such a skip? Like I think the shock charge or the voice quote skip on Terminus, like, do you have to give that up and then go back and get another time, or is it just it's an unbeatable run?
Yep. Was it the official leaderboards wipe the board? That's the risk of running or spearing a live service game. Like, I think we're all aware of that, obviously. But it's still a pain in the ass where, like, the speedruns we do could just be voided at any moment. Like, granted, we're aware of some things that, like, are a bit extreme. For instance, like the power drill on Citadel. Like, we knew that was probably getting patched. We still played it because, like, the map was still in its infancy. Like, obviously, the times weren't getting beaten, but it was still fun to just do it for, like, the first week while we figure out the map. But yeah, it is the risk of spearing a live service game. We're aware of that. It just sucks. That's how it is, but what are you gonna do?
And for the stuff that affects the whole community, like with patch notes or with stuff like that, I think everyone's fully in agreement there. And I get it. It's frustrating, and it's because, you know, what you guys do is stressful, and like we talked about, there's something could happen, a run could go sideways, or something that you were able to do in the past and it didn't seem like it was hurting anybody could go away. Do you ever like sit there and reflect and you're like, this is there, there are only a couple people doing this at a high level, so maybe like maybe Treyarch or the devs like aren't really thinking about it from a speedrunning perspective? And do you think there's like an opportunity in the future for a speedrunning playlist, a speedrunning LTM? And the only reason I ask this, interestingly enough, unless there's other challenges in the past, but it kind of seems like in a amateur, rudimentary fashion, they at least thought about it a little bit for this game, because is there not a Dark Ops challenge for beating Liberty in a certain amount of time? Under 30 minutes. Is that not one of the Dark Ops challenges for this game? So that's not anything serious or anything, like at an elite level, but it seems like they at least thought about it to put in a challenge into the game. Do you ever wish that they could, branch out and use this as like an LTM, or use this in the future of zombies, like speedrunning in specific?
It's tough because, like, honestly, I am aware of it. Like, also, I come off like as facetious, especially on Twitter. It's like, oh, no, why are they doing this? But it's like, deep down, I know, like, there's only a few people doing this. Like, I don't want them to cater to just a few players like me, Freckleston, iMac. Like, we're just one of a few players out of like hundreds of thousands that play the game. So I don't want them to cater to speedrunners, obviously. Like, I want them to reward hardcore players. Apparently, there's some rumors that there's something new coming with BO7, how they're going to reward hardcore players. Let's be honest, it's probably going to be a calling card, maybe an animated purple sticker, like they did with the gauntlets in BO4. That's probably what it's going to be. But, yeah. I'd love for them to, like, reward speedrunning to an extent, but it's hard to do, because you do have to think about, like, cheating. Like, is that a possibility as well? Like, leaderboards as well. It's like, Activision has been awful in terms of, like, cheaters and, like, managing cheaters, especially on Warzone. Like, you see, like, oh, we've banned this many accounts, but, like, they're still ravaging cheaters all over the place on Warzone, and MP a bit as well, so it's... I think you can't really do anything about, like, rewarding hardcore players there, at least in Zombies, until you can actually manage your game properly. Because Zombies is just a third mode. They can't even manage Warzone, which is, like, their big bread and butter. So they would have to really fine-tune things, because they can't even handle BO6, just managing it properly, like we already mentioned before, with all the consistent bugs that are added in every patch note. So I'd love for them to, like, start doing it, but they have a lot to work on in terms of managing the game and making sure it doesn't break every update, because they can't do any of that until the game functions properly. In my eyes, at least.
When you mentioned the rewarding the hardcore players for, like, just, it was very vague, and I remember them saying that it was just, like, very odd that they would say something like that and not really give too many teases. Obviously, we'll probably figure out here this week what that all meant. Maybe. What would you think about, like, Easter egg completions rewards for every, like, 1, 5, 10, 15, and 20 where like you get maybe like the pack. I've seen this on Twitter all the time, so this isn't my idea, but it's like, you know, pack 1 at 5 completions, pack 2 camo at 10 completions, pack 3 at 15, and then like a rotating pack or a rotating camo that you can equip anywhere in any mode, like how they had some of like the MW3 camos that would like fluctuate between different colors and stuff, which with all 3 pack a punch camos, or a custom one for beating it 20 times in a row, or 20 times. Like I know that's not directly related to speed running, but do you think that's something that, I mean, like, it kind of, you know, you beat your time so many times over or whatever, eventually you get to the point where like, okay, I'll just do this a few more times to get to 20. Do you think that's like a good idea, or do you think that's going to be too niche for certain people to want to actually go and do that?
Well, it's definitely a great idea. I think, again, every map's different. Like, finish this map 20 times. If it's like Origins, finish it 20 times. Not everyone's going to want to do that over and over again. But if it's map like, let's say, The Machine or like Liberty Falls, different story. Those are quick maps. You can definitely do it. But my idea was, I actually thought of it a while ago, is I've seen a lot of comparisons. At least in my mind, I compare modern COD Zombies a ton to Destiny raids, like dungeons and everything. I'm not sure if you guys, or how much exposure you guys have to Destiny endgame content, but I think my idea was, I've said before, is every week there's like a pack of gums you could get for completing the egg. You get those pack, let's say like probably every Thursday, let's say, because that's kind of when they pull a lot of updates, is every Thursday. You can run the map, fish Easter egg, you get like a pack of gums, for instance, maybe some COD points. That'll reset, and then you can still get like smaller packs of gums or whatever every time you finish the map again. But every Thursday, the loot pool will say resets, and you can get another big pack of gums. And then you can just keep playing over and over again, get more gums, XP. Obviously, they're gonna really want to push all the simple rewards in. XP, maybe not a camo, maybe like a skin for the first time only. Maybe a calling card for Dark Ops, but I'd love to take it a step further just based on reality, is that they're not going to give many rewards probably, but if they could, I'd say maybe a pack of gums, maybe like 3 or 5 gums, let's say. Not whimsicals, let's clarify that. Definitely not whimsicals, but like actual useful gums.
Right, right.
And then every Thursday you can get like an ultra, maybe like 1 to 3 ultras every week. Just because they're so rare unless you just pay money for them. So that would be like my realistic idea of what they could do. Are they going to do it? Definitely not. That'll take away actual sales from COD points and gum packs. But in a perfect world, they could do that.
What do you think like the ideal Easter egg reward is? Like I know you mentioned like the weekly speed runs or the weekly like completions of the Easter egg, but like, you know, this year obviously I feel like they took a step forward in terms of the rewards per map. Like I know it's not, you know, just a call like the calling cards or whatever, but you know, like you did get an operator skin and in some cases a wonder weapon skin too. I mean, it's not the biggest, baddest thing in the world, but like if in a perfect world, what would you say would be for completing at least the Easter egg one time? What would you like to see them release for each map?
It's ironic you mentioned the operator skins because now there's no carry forward to BO7.
Oh yeah.
So, the
Yeah.
reward you get for completing the eggs don't actually carry forward to the next game, which I get it. We want to keep the games separate now, i.e. we see what Battlefield's doing is working. We have to copy them or else our sales are going to be affected. So, in a perfect world, obviously the gums would be part of it. The calling card for the first time. I still think calling cards in 2025 as a main reward is stupid. There's got to be something else out there that can do other than calling card, emblem. Skins are nice. I think they could upgrade like the look of the skins because BO6, they were kind of basic. I think they could have been, especially for the camos on the wonder weapons, they were very basic.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that there was only, was it 2 wonder weapon skins you could get out of the 6 maps is stupid for free. And they're just green variants of the base wonder weapon. There's just the ray gun and the ice staff. Like, they could have gone really creative with with the wonder weapon skins. The ones they did get creative with were $20. Like,
Yep.
it's like, they can definitely do it, but they want people to spend $20 on the cooler skins. And let's be honest, most people are probably going to do that. So,
Right.
I just wish they, like, some of the skins that they had, or like the camos they have for $20 were actually like the main skins. Like that would be really incentivizing for players to go for.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Speaking of Black Ops 6, Black Ops 7, this is something that I wanted to ask you because, interestingly enough, we've heard some about Transit, right? Or whatever, Transit reimagining.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Supposedly.
If you were to design, Treyarch calls you up. They say, Kingman, you play this game a lot. You've optimized this game better than 99% of people who play our maps. If Treyarch called you, they said, design one feature for this next zombies map. What would be your wildest or most realistic addition for this upcoming game?
That is such a loaded question.
I know. We're making you think. We're putting you on the spot here, Kingman. You're quick on your feet. You're able to move around.
I'm standing right now.
You got to route your way through this podcast.
All right. I would walk around my room right now, but I'm wearing my headset. I don't want to like walk away without hearing myself speak. But okay. Let's see. Hello, Kingman. How are you doing? Yeah, thanks for complaining on Twitter again. So, we heard you have some ideas for Call of Duty. You know, what you could do. What are some ideas? And, yeah, by the way, buy more gums. We know you buy a lot of them. So, ideas, go. And I would say, first of all, Treyarch, thanks for calling. Thanks for, being aware of me. And, I don't know. Difficulties from BO4, that'd be pretty fun. You could have them again, recontextualize it for the modern audience, and see how that works with BO7. Cool camos, play for camos, because it, progression across every mode, and no depths arcade's a thing, XP and everything. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't have much time to think of this. I'm just kind of off the top of my head here. So I guess, yeah, camos. I've already kind of touched on it. Difficulties from BO4, I've been saying before, is a big thing. And oh my god, you're really making me think you're on the spot. I don't want to like stop talking, or so just be like just blank space for 10 seconds in the podcast. But
what do you think about like the modern systems though? Like, are you a modern guy? Are you anti-modern? Like, do you like the plating? Do you like the the game system mechanics?
I'm gonna be honest, if it weren't for Rampage Inducer, I'd be falling asleep to this game in Cold War. Rampage Inducer is the only reason why I enjoy modern zombies. Like, it's so much slower, and there's no like actual strategy for the early game without Rampage Inducer. It's just like, you get the kills, you get headshots, it's whatever. And then late game is just like, oh, get the window up and shoot zombies. Like, that's a lot of like early COD, but a lot of the early game strategy, where like you rack up points, gobblegums aside, just rack up points, optimize your shots. Every shot counts, especially early game where you get 10 points a shot, melee 130. Like, a lot of the like strategy behind early game and what made zombies special is gone. Now, granted, early game I think it's a higher skill gap now. Like, your headshots determine what points you get basically, because headshots more than a melee kill now. So I think there's a higher skill gap now. There's a much higher skill gap now than there was before. But I think the zombies player in me is always going to prefer the classic system, just because it's what we had for 10 plus years. That's what we've gotten used to. Like, I think BO2, BO3, they really perfected it. Like, this is a whole different topic. We could go on to like the pros and cons behind both systems, like Cold War BO6 versus everything before BO4, let's say. Like, BO4 is kind of like that weird middle ground where it's a bit of classic, but it's a bit of modern as well. But yeah, that's a whole different conversation I think we could get into. But
so if BO7 came out like two hits, super sprinters on round 20, you'd be ecstatic. You'd be excited.
I mean, the masochist side of me says yes, but the casual in me says no. So
your speedrunning times maybe say no. Maybe?
Yeah. Well, maybe. But
maybe.
I think if that's like, if they bring
what do you think about what do you think about the bosses in BO6? You like them?
Oh, I love them.
They're pretty good. I think they're pretty good. I think they're solid for everybody.
Outside of a couple, they're a huge step in the right direction. Yep. Like, I've always been a Destiny player. Like, I haven't really played much Destiny recently, but I love Destiny. And the bosses, the end game content of the raids, some of the best boss fights you will see in gaming. Like, they are so good. I can see zombies kind of going that general direction. They had the boss designs down to a T. Like, the boss designs in this game were amazing. Mechanics of some of them, I'm a bit iffy on, especially the Guardian. Everything about the Guardian is great, except for the gameplay. But I think if they go a step further with BO7, where the boss designs the environments, soundtracks, everything's about the same. But then to add an extra little step of mechanics in order to do DPS on top of multiple phases, where BO6 didn't really have enough attack variety between each phases outside of Sam, Patient 13, and I guess maybe Sound Artifact if you really want to push that. So I think if BO7 goes the extra step of, again, more mechanics in order to do DPS to the boss, more variety of attacks, I think you have something really good going, because I think Destiny 2 is a fantastic reference point for where I think Treyarch is taking zombies with BO7, because I think throughout BO7, all the bosses got progressively more difficult. Like, was it in Patient 13, we were using, I guess for reference, a Tier 1 PAP green gun. And against Sam and Richtofen in Reckoning, we're using a Tier 3 yellow gun for, like, just finishing it as efficiently as possible. So, I hope they keep the momentum up with difficulty progression with each boss as the game goes on. I'm hoping there's some sort of, like, super egg reward where you have some crazy boss fight, kind of like Mephistopheles in IW. So, granted how pessimistic I am about some aspects of BO7, I am very excited about the boss fights going forward.
Yeah, dude, we love Andrew. He's, I think, probably got, like you said, for the most of the boss fights, they're really dialed in. I know he did Greylerm. I'm not sure if he did the Entity and the Entity's Echo. I think that might have been Sledgehammer. I don't think that was actually Andrew, but
Entity was okay. Like, I think he had cool ideas, but it was really just an aim trainer. Like, hit the circles, you win.
Exactly.
Like, it could have been more creative, but I understand at the same time, BO6. Sledgehammer's working on the next game. They were working on this game, I think. Oh, was it this game they were working on, then Treyarch took over? Or was that, like, before Cold War?
I think that was Cold War. Sledgehammer originally had a different plan, and then Treyarch got put on it.
Yeah.
But, no, dude, like you were saying, like, yeah, that's where it goes back to, like, Jeff and I's only complaint with the boss fights is that they've all been kind of the same. There's not really that extra hoop or two to jump through when you're facing them. There's no, like... Nothing wrong, like there's nothing wrong with the AI, there's nothing wrong with the coding. It's like the, cinematic feel of being in the boss fights. It's stressful, especially the first times you're going through it. Like, it's been great. Yep. But yeah, just like a couple more attacks, and I think they could really be dialed in here. Like, they need to, whatever they do, the silver lining, I think, for everybody that's played Black Ops 6 Zombies and done the Easter eggs is the boss fights. No matter how you feel about any other aspect of the game, they need to cut Andrew a blank check and keep this guy on staff for every game moving forward for Zombies. Right. And I think he might even be working on Endgame. Do you know what that is for Black Ops 7?
Endgame, like, was it for the campaign?
Yeah, I could be wrong. I don't know if he's directly working on it, but I know Kevin is involved in it. He was in the trailer, and I think he's helping lead it a little bit or helping give some vision. But it's basically like the MWZ, like DMZ type of raid after the campaign, and supposedly there's going to be like updates throughout the year that it's going to tell how they tell the, or it's going to be how they narrate the post launch story for the campaign, but there's going to be like world bosses and stuff. So it'll be really interesting to see if, like, obviously we get the one boss fight per map in Zombies, but then if he has a hand over there too, it'd be really cool to like go do some of those, especially if they're kind of on the same level of some of the Zombies one. But yeah, man, I think the boss fights this year have been dialed in.
Yeah. That's why I have such a soft spot for the Sentinel Artifact boss. Like, the first half is boring as hell. It's time gated. You can actually just lose time on it because you have to wait a little longer based on rotation of the artifact at the beginning. But the second half makes it up entirely for me. I love the second half of the Sentinel Artifact boss fight. Yeah, granted, it's a little tiny mirror, but that goes back to what I was saying before, like the mechanics side behind it. You have to kill the HVT and then damage the artifact.
Right.
That's like that extra step. Like, granted, it's very, very foundational, very basic. I don't really care about how basic it is. The fact that there's a little extra outside of just shoot artifact, you win. I like how there's that extra little small thing involved, and I just hate how they never went off of that. It's just a one-off thing throughout the entire game.
I think the way that they've been doing, and we were both huge fans of Sentinel Artifact boss fight too. Some people just absolutely hate it, and it's the worst thing in the world for them, but we both really enjoy it. It's probably one of my favorite boss fights on the game. It seems like they've kind of taken the idea of the unstable rift in MWZ and applied that to the boss fights for the more survival-esque maps of Liberty Falls and the Tomb, because like they're not like survival maps like how Farm is going to be, where you just boot up and it's just kill and that's it. There's not, weapon quest, there's not any sort of Easter egg or boss fight, but it's interesting to see them kind of take the leap from Liberty Falls, where it was strictly just lockdown, where you're just soul farming, to the Tomb, where they're not the same map, but they're pretty similar in terms of the objective and what they want out of the player base that's playing those maps. But then having a boss fight that's just on a completely different level and taking it the extra step of like, yeah, it's still technically soul farming, but like you said, adding in having to break the artifact in between killing the HVTs. So if they were to do another survival-esque map, I don't think they'll do one next year, just because, I mean, maybe they'll have like one in the DLC season. But if they were, would you like to see them kind of have an expanded version of like a boss fight like the Tomb, or would you just want to see a regular boss fight like Patient 13 or Richthofen or something like that on a higher scale?
Personally, we've had 6 boss fights basically being the same. Let's say 4 of the 6 maps. I'm not including Liberty Falls here, obviously, but let's say 4 of the 5 boss fights, quote unquote boss. So I guess I'll count Reckoning as 2 are just the same. 4 of the 5 were just shoot the boss, very basic, you win. Downtime between phases, 60 seconds. Formulaically speaking, they're all the same. But I want BO7 to just innovate entirely on the boss formula that Treyarch has. Like, Destiny's done it like several times, countless times. I want Treyarch to innovate based on what they have. And the next step is going to be mechanics in the boss itself. I want every map. This is wishful thinking, but I would want every map, including Transit, Reimagined, whatever it's going to be, to include mechanics in their boss fights. I don't know what's going to be yet, depending on the arena, whatever. I want mechanics across every boss, 3 phases, including a final stand. It's kind of like we have Sentinel Artifact and, let's say, Voyage of Despair, for instance, in the last phase of the boss. I want mechanics and a wipe attack at the end. Do as much damage as you can to the boss. If you don't do enough damage, you're dead. Maybe that's a bit extreme, maybe a bit elitist. I think it'll go a long way for longevity, challenge, and I think the community will finally appreciate something a little more difficult. I'm not saying this game wasn't difficult, it had difficult moments, definitely, but I just want something really challenging and really exciting to watch and play.
No, I like that. I like the idea of the wipe attack at the end. I don't think that's an elitist take. I think that's just like, the first time you go through it, you're not going to expect it at all, and it might piss some people off that just spent the hour and a half or 2 hours on launch day trying to get there, but it would definitely make it more interesting for sure.
Did you watch my Tomb? Was it when I was on solo on Tomb? Did you see that clip?
Oh no, I'll have to look at this.
Yeah, it was from a day 1 Tomb or something like that. I'll try to find the tweet, but this was day 1 Tomb, and what is it? It's from January, but basically, wipe attack. I was gonna be first in the world. I think I was gonna be first in the world actually. Like, generally first in the world solo. Definitely, I was first in the world solo, but I have to scroll so far down on this. But basically, I was on wipe attack. The artifact is at like 1 HP. Like generally 1 HP, maybe half HP. It was crazy. Like, I want you to show this on the podcast, like on the video, so everyone can see it. Like, okay, it came on the 28th, right? Yeah, here it is. Alright, I'll send you the clip right now. Like, I want you to show this clip to everyone. It is crazy. And just like the pacing of the video as well, like everything, it's mad.
I think that's what I liked about the Tomb though, is because that boss fight, people didn't really know what was going on to start.
Yeah.
And it is because the extra mechanics. So I'm in agreement with you there 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, yeah. Dude, I can't even see the bar. That's crazy.
Yep. Like, if I just hit a couple more shots, if I didn't, like, loot, I don't think the clip includes it, but if I didn't, like, reload cancel, mid-reload after mantling, I get the kill at the buzzer. Like, that's how close it was. Like, right now, it's super easy, but, like, you just use a mouse drum, you finish in, like, 5 seconds, but
right.
I didn't know at the time. So, I just love, like, first time on a boss, day 1, you do mechanics, you don't know what's optimal DPS. And it's unlike Destiny, where if you die in a boss, you just reset the phase, or, like, reset the encounter. If you die in zombies, you die entirely. That raises the stakes so much more on day 1. Right. And then it demands, not necessarily perfection, but it demands execution, good execution, every other time you play the map after day 1. And depending they don't like screw up any like updates or anything they've been doing the entirety of BO6, then we're talking about something really good for the community, even under the modern Call of Duty Zombies formula, which is very divisive. But I can see how it can be good under this engine.
All right, Kingman, we've been going for almost an hour here. We want to get into some kind of variety of, a couple more questions of just some, just reflecting on your speedrunning and what you do and just in general from your YouTube and online career. And then we're going to get into what we call our community corner over here on Perkaholics Anonymous. That's just a couple of questions from the previous upload that we have screenshotted here that we'll just read, and then we'll kind of have a discussion of before we wrap up. But I think every Zombies player kind of has that one moment that stands out to them, whether it be, your perfect run, a clutch revive, or something that feels, legendary within your own Zombies experience. What would you say that would be for you? Whether it's one of your personal bests, a world record, what was that one time in Zombies where you were like, all right, this is peak, like this is amazing?
I wouldn't say it's like playing Zombies specifically. I think it's more so. Do you guys watch GWC 3?
Back in the day, yeah, I watched it.
I'd say that's probably like my personal like favorite moment playing Zombies, just because the reason I started speedrunning in the first place was ZWC 2. Seeing Chopper get first place, seeing all these YouTubers play it. 3 years later, I'm in that same tournament. Now, granted, I didn't go, and most people don't know this. The reason I didn't go to Vegas, even though I'm in America with COVID and everything, I didn't have any form of ID to go. Or to fly domestically. I didn't have a driver's license, so I couldn't fly. My dad was offering
That's crazy.
to take my brother's ID because he looks a lot like me, but he offered I used his ID to fly. I'm like, no, Dad, I'm not doing that. So I didn't go. I played virtually, and it might have been the best decision I could have made because I went through ZWI, which was like the community, like content creation based version of it. I wasn't good enough to play the actual challenges, so I went through the content creation direction, and it was me and I think Legend HD who were the two winners. So I think it was a downside though because they announced ZWI winners like 2 weeks before the actual event, so tickets would have been very expensive, hotel would have been expensive, Uber as well. Like it would have been a very, very pricey, overpriced vacation, I'd say. Now, granted, I got third place in ZWC. It was nice, but I know I'm kind of segueing away from the actual main question, but I think all things considered, I think just the entirety of ZWI, ZWC3 weekend was probably my personal like favorite moment in the community, at least what I've been through. At least it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, dude, and looking back at like so far, you've had your experiences with all that and zombies in your online career. Like you looked up to people back in the day. I bet you people are looking up to you now, and you're probably going to be somebody's like favorite YouTuber or childhood YouTuber where they would just watch your streams, watch your videos, and be really interested in your times and stuff. What do you want to be remembered for in the community? Because like I know it feels weird to think about, dude, because like it's a very like humbling thing to experience and really just like mentally process. But like, do you want to be remembered for the times, the speed runs, the records? Do you want to be remembered for like the way that you represent the community, the interactions that you have with people? Like what is, when you look back on 10, 15, 20 years from now and you think about your online career here in the zombies community, like what is the one thing you want to be remembered for overall?
Well, I mean, we're in the entertainment industry, YouTube, everything. The whole point of entertainment is to give an escape to people, to like get their mind off the real world, because real world's a shit show. We're all aware of what's happening in the world, but entertainment, YouTube kind of goes hand in hand. It's an escape, kind of get your mind off of things. And granted, Speedrunning Zombies not like the most like, I wouldn't say entertaining, but like it's not the hardest thing to edit, to like create a video on. I'm just like, I'm playing the same map over and over again. That's the only way I'm streaming it as well. So I think for me, I think just like like what people get out of like a speedrun video, not even just the time, but just like watching that video and being like, holy fucking shit, man. Sorry for the cursing, but it's like,
No, you're good. Yeah, I'm more worse.
Yeah, but it's like, I think I just want to be remembered for like just not just me being remembered, just I'll remember like what people get out of that video, like the entertainment of it, is what I would want them to remember. Not necessarily what I want to be remembered for, because like I'm just a guy. Like I have a job. I just go to my job, 30, 40 hours a week, whatever. Come home, sit in my chair in my room. My bed's right there. I go sleep in that bed every night. My entire life, I've just been in that bedroom or this room. So the entertainment value that people get from my videos is what I would want them to remember most. Not necessarily the person behind it. Is probably what I'd say.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's fair enough. I think that's one of the things me and MZC have learned through doing this podcast and starting this up, whether it be interacting with people in the comments or having, special guests on like yourself. For the 14 episodes we've been doing it, everybody has their own origin story and everybody has their why behind doing it. So we've definitely been enlightened by the people we've spoken with and the people we've talked to. So we always like asking questions like that, even though if they're a little deep, if they're a little humbling, makes you think, but the audience likes it. And it's just interesting to hear how we all got wrapped up in this online, atmosphere in this online world. But to transition over, MZC, Kingman, we're going to hop into the community corner. 2 questions here for us today. We're going to start with Leslie Myers, 4159. Thanks for being a member also of MZC's channel. We appreciate that greatly. Kingman, you talked about this earlier, but Leslie Myers says, bring back carry forward to Black Ops 7 Zombies. Where are you with like the carry forward stuff? I know you mentioned, competing with Battlefield, it's still going to be around for Warzone. What do you think that the carry forward and the skins and the operators that we got from, especially, the Easter egg rewards, do you think that should be in Black Ops 7 Zombies, or do you like how they're keeping it separate?
It's a weird little balance. I like how it's not on MP. MP should be very, fits Call of Duty, because MP is the main thing. Everyone gets for Call of Duty, right? It's kind of the same thing every year, but there are far more players in MP than there are in Zombies, even though Trek is claiming, Liberty Falls is the most played Zombies map of all time. I find it pretty easy to believe, but they're probably saying it for not necessarily the right reasons why it's the most played map of all time. They're just looking at the analytics and saying, there it is, without really thinking about why it's that way. And it's just camo grinding. People really don't care much about, the Easter egg aspect behind it, because, was it director mode? Kind of elevated the Easter egg completion rates a little bit, but it wasn't anything substantial. It was, I think 3% to, 7%.
Yeah.
Is what I last remember, but, when it comes to Zombies, though, there's no reason why the skins you get in BO6 shouldn't carry over to Zombies. Because, we're dealing with Zombies. It's why are we worried about Nicki Minaj skins in Call of Duty Zombies? I want to blast Zombies as Nicki Minaj, alright? Jerk! Add in Nicki Minaj to Zombies! But,
you're the first person I've ever heard say that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I totally agree with you.
I'm probably the only person
out
who
about
said
Nicki Minaj.
But on a serious note, though, it's Zombies. It's sci-fi, history, mystery, horror. It's people don't play Zombies for the historically accurate representation of society. It's it's Zombies. Yeah, it's I want to shoot around really stupid anime skins on Zombies. It's not like I can actually see my skins played by myself, so whether I play with it or not is irrelevant. I'm just gonna get some shady quotes smooth. Too smooth. It's I don't care. It doesn't make a difference what skin I use. The experience on Zombies by myself is going to be the same. Now, if I'm playing with other people, yeah, it's a different story. It's Zombies.
Third person. You're telling me there's no third person speedruns in the future?
No one's playing third person, I assure you.
What time? Do you think you genuinely get a good time on third person, or no? You think it would just be a mess?
I couldn't answer that question because I have not touched third person all year. I wouldn't know how it plays.
It's interesting because I've played a little bit. I like it actually. I think it's interesting. I don't main it. I know some people who do main it actually, but yeah, I don't main it. I think it's an interesting little addition. But MZC, what do you carry forward or what? Getting good move, not a good move?
I agree with Kingman. It's Zombies at the end of the day, right? I know I've heard some people throughout the year be like, I'm playing Grief. I don't want to see Beavis and Butthead. Or I'm in a public match playing. I don't want to see Stan Smith. But at the end of the day, like that percentage of players that are even either in any of those modes has got to be so low. So it's like you're catering to like a minuscule percent. So with the skins, I don't care at all. Like it sucks that, we're getting Dead Ops 4 and we're not going to be able to use the Dead Ops skin that came out this year if you bought it. Like all of the Easter egg rewards, those characters are carrying forward. It's tough to be like a beggars can't be choosers situation here where you're like, I don't want cell shaded skins and like you said, like multiplayer or whatever, but then there is the cell shaded skins for Weaver and whatnot. Again, it's zombies, so I'm on the fence with it there. I don't really care one way or another. What I'm actually worried about is I don't know if this was even planned for the mode, so we're gonna have to see like this week what the specifics of this are. But they confirmed Gobblegum's carrying over. I'm kind of worried that without weapons carrying over now, that like perks, field upgrades, if they bring augments back, I was really hoping those would carry forward so that we don't see like death perception in season 3 or double tap in season 1. Like I want those to just be there at launch and just be core staple parts of the game. So next year we get even more things added in, or let's say they remove death perception, but then added a new perk in its replacement. Like I'm more worried about that kind of stuff. And then the drip feeding of content next year being an issue again, rather than like skins and realism and zombies. Kingman, what do you think? Like, would you be okay with carry forward for that kind of stuff, even if you have to re-unlock it in a sense, or re-grind that stuff out, or are you just like, how do you feel about that too?
I think they should carry over everything that's in the game right now and expand upon it. Like augments, have what's there, expand upon it. Like add multiple new major augments, minor augments, new few upgrades. Like for new upgrade, like everything that you unlock for augments should be expanded upon. The build crafting of BO6 zombies, I love. Like, granted, there's a couple of useless augments in there, like turtle shell, whatever. But the idea of the build crafting in BO6 zombies was amazing. Again, Destiny, build crafting, everything perfect. I want that same logic to carry over to zombies based on how zombies plays. So, more augments, more different play styles, weapons. There should not be any BO6 weapons in BO7. I think we can all agree on that. Maybe. But I think having new weapons on top of all the augments allows for different playstyles, potentially. And zombies, kind of tough to like really have different playstyles because either you're high rounding, you're playing Easter egg, or you're doing some sort of like niche challenge, like first stream or something. But I think some things should definitely carry over, like augments. Gobblegums obviously are carrying over, skins for zombies only, but it's definitely tough because we don't know what's gonna change in BO7. So we'll have to see what happens with next week, or actually 2 days from now.
Yep.
When they start.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's definitely seems like the talking point is what's going to be in the next game. How similar is it going to be? The gums are carrying forward. Are they going to drip feed? Is it going to be locked behind the prestige wall? Are you going to be able to get it all, day one?
I still can't believe there's only one survival map on launch. I think that's crazy. Because, they said there's going to be, 6 locations on the new transit map, and only one has a survival map at launch. So, what I'm concerned about with that, since I just brought it up, is every half season they release a new survival map on transit before DLC 1. And then they kind of just, carry that over throughout the season. I hope there's, every 2 weeks, let's say, there's a new survival map. Now, I don't know how the map's going to play. We don't know if those maps are going to be tailored to survival. But I don't, there's no reason, in my mind, why BO2 should have had farm and town on launch, both with grief and survival. And then we only get one on BO7.
Yep.
So, that's my concern. If it's, every couple weeks, I'm all for it. I don't mind. But if it's going to be every half season, and they're going to just drip feed the survival maps in that pace, then I'm okay, there's some red flags here.
Do you know if it's confirmed if the maps throughout the seasons that are coming for the survival maps are all from transit? Because I was under the assumption that they were, and then I can't remember who I was talking to, but somebody said how cool would it be? Okay, I don't want to, I gotta be careful here. Somebody was okay, maybe, it'd be cool to see the DLC 1 map, you have farm along with transit, in the preseason, and then DLC 1 in season 1, you have the new big map and then a survival map based on that in the next season. And maybe they just misspoke, and maybe it was, but like I was under the assumption that it was only transit maps coming, but now I'm kind of second guessing myself based on what somebody may have said on a live stream at some point. So do you know for sure, like in the blog post, if they said transit or no? Because I'm a little confused there.
Idea. But I feel like if they're doing survival maps on transit, I would assume all the new maps are going to have survival maps of their own. I would just assume.
Right.
Now, granted, that's me just wishful thinking, probably, but my wish is they have, by the DLC 1, they have at least 3 or 4 survival maps out of like the 6 locations, let's say. And then I don't mind if they like add in like 1 or 2 during season 1 with DLC 1 or whatever, depending when that comes out, because I don't want every single survival map coming out at the same time. That would just be too much content too soon. That's over delivery. So it's like, I want it to be spread out in a way where there's a consistent flow, of like a balance of content throughout the year. No, I know it's gonna be downtime. Obviously, like that's gonna be a given. We've had 4 months between Shadowvale and Reckoning, so I just hope they do a better job this year of spraying out content where we get Tomb and Citadel by not even like by late January. We get that stuff, and then we're waiting for 4 or 5 months at a time for another map, and then we have Grief, which is really. Part of me wishes they don't bring Grief back. I know it's a different discussion, but I just either they seriously revamp Grief for BO7 or they just don't bring it back. Like, I think Grief was just totally a flop for BO6, so I'm hoping they either seriously improve it or just get rid of it entirely, focus on something else that would be better for the community.
Yeah, we've gone back and forth on Grief. That was kind of like right when we started doing the podcast. So we've talked a lot about it week to week, and it seems like right off the rip they were very interested in updating it or trying to fine-tuning it or finding a way to please the community and balance things. And then it seems like they just were like, we don't have time for this anymore, and it just completely stopped. And we got the Reckoning maps, but the mechanics, there hasn't been an update in the last probably months now at this point. So I'm in the same boat. I'd love for it to come back if it was revamped, like you said, or if they had like a competitive way. I don't know. Like, I think that the potential's there for it, but you can't underbake a mode like that actually needs to be really, really fleshed out before it even launches to begin with, because it didn't launch and then not have Prime. All that we've gone over this a million times, but I agree with you. I feel like if you're gonna bring it back, it can't just be the same thing that we got this year. But our second question here is from Three Hermans. This is actually a really interesting question, and I mean I know we've talked about how we feel about modern zombies versus old zombies, but he asks, are you guys scared that Black Ops 7 and the negativity it's getting right now, especially in zombies, is going to eventually lead to the treatment that BO4 got, where Activision panics and pulls the plug to the funding to zombies, and we just ended up getting screwed in the long run? I thought this is a really interesting question because based on what people were told in the presentation when they went to Treyarch a couple weeks ago, was that they were really hammering on like, hey, these maps are going to be very unique. They're going to be very expansive. Like the maps are going to be sick, like people are like, oh, what about the gameplay? How's it going to play compared to how BO6 was? But like Treyarch was saying, we've gone all in with the maps essentially. And it sounds like we're finally going to get these crazy locations and areas. And obviously the narrative's a different question. Gameplay's a different question, but it is kind of getting to the point where like, could, maybe they got a bigger budget to do this game, or they put most of the budget into BO7 compared to BO6, but the negativity just absolutely kills it. Like, do you fear that at all, Kingman? Or are you kind of just like, it's, I don't know if we'll ever have that level of panic and pull from Activision?
I don't fear it. If it gets pulled, it's probably deserved. I think they just keep on saying, oh, the location's gonna be crazy. Like, things are gonna look crazy, be cool. And it's like, I don't care how cool a location is, I don't care how cool it looks if it doesn't play well. It's like, the most important thing should be, does it play well? BO6, when it works, plays well. Yeah, it's facilities. Yeah, it's whatever. They play mostly pretty well, so I have a couple exceptions. But, yeah, I want them to look great. I want them to look like beautiful maps like we had in BO3, some of BO4. But if they don't play well, I don't care how they look. And in terms of them like pulling the plug again, I'm not that concerned. From a content perspective, I'm absolutely petrified, obviously, but um, from a just consumer perspective, after why I played BO6 for 10 months straight and how they manage this game, I'll say, I've said before, I'll say it again, BO6 is really good, but it's probably the worst managed Call of Duty I've ever played. They manage this game like absolute dog shit. And I don't care if it's because they're working on BO7 or whatever that is. I hold a multi-billion-dollar corporation to a higher standard. And they completely flopped in the management department of BO6. It's one step forward, 10 steps back for every update they had outside of Shattered Veil launch and Reckoning launch. Those were the only two actual good launches for updates in terms of zombies in the entire game. But I'm hoping they do better with BO7. I'm very pessimistic right now based on where BO6 is right now, just under the last update. But, again, if it flops, it's probably deserved. And I wouldn't mind they just take a few years off just to maybe, hopefully, improve the mode. Because I don't think the point system we have now is coming back after BO7. I'd be shocked if it comes back, even if BO7 is a success. I'd be in utter shock if it came back, because I think the community, just generally speaking, prefers the classic point system. Now, granted, you kind of have to revamp the entire game around the point system, because you can't really have BO3's... You can't really have the point system you have now with BO3 mechanics. It just kind of ruins the whole flow of the map, all that fancy stuff, but... we'll have to wait and see. I mean, was it BO7's 2 months out? We have marketing starting this week, COD next end of the month. They have a lot of shots to prove to us that they can make a functional game. I think BO7 is going to be fun. It's BO6 2.0. It's going to play the exact same. I don't think you need an NDA to tell you that. It's going to play the exact same. But their marketing is going to be really good, I assume. Their marketing team's always really good. But the execution of the actual game is where I am... I'm a little skeptical about where it's going to go. I want to succeed, but I also know we're dealing with Activision here. So, have to wait and see.
Were you, really quickly, were you shocked to hear that there weren't going to be sweeping changes across the mode, or were you, as somebody that plays this game a lot, were you expecting there to not really be much movement? Because, I understand that people want the classic point system, people might want a shield, people might want all these different things, and I completely agree that it should be a hybrid and that they should revert a lot of the things that they've done for the modern system that would really improve the mode. But again, you'd have to completely rework it from the ground up. I don't know where, again, I don't know where the shock and surprise this game is basically Black Ops 6 2. I don't know how people are oh, they're not listening or anything like that. Did you expect any big fundamental changes going into this game, maybe outside of a classic playlist?
I'm just shocked people are expecting anything different. They made these games back to back. If you're expecting BO3 after BO6 when it's just the same game on the way, I don't know what to tell you. You know what you're getting into. I know those zombies YouTubers are NDAs and everything saying, oh, we can't talk about the actual gameplay. No, none of us are under NDA. I think we can kind of agree. The whole NDA is fucking stupid. They can talk about that they played it, but they can't talk about the quality. Now, from a business perspective, I get it. They don't want to affect sales, whether negatively or positively. BO7's gonna sell like crazy, but I just think the whole management of you can talk about that you played it, but you can't just talk about how it is. I think it's just kind of weird. But yeah, I don't know. I just think we already kind of know what the game's gonna be. It's just gonna be BO6 mechanics under transit. That's basically what's gonna be.
Yeah, and MZC, I think we've talked about this a lot over the last 13, 14 episodes of this show, and I think it's a good question about drawing the parallels from Black Ops 4 to Black Ops 7. I think that the back-to-back years of round-based shows you the confidence that they have in the mode, regardless of where you stand on if you like it, if you love it, if you want the classic system back, if you love this system more. So me and you have been on a consensus here. I think Black Ops 7 is the game to see where it goes after that. Where if it seems to be, I think they like Black Ops 6 Zombies. I think they like how it performed. If 7 performs like 6 did, maybe they take a year off and it's back after a year. I don't think you see 3 straight years of round-based zombies. I guess I could be wrong, but yeah, I don't know if getting the funding pulled from it is really realistic. I agree with you, Kingman. I think the marketing and everything is going to be interesting to see, you know, what they have planned, what they are teasing, and other stuff that could be available at launch, like you said, instead of just, you know, reimagine transit and then one survival map, other offerings and other stuff like that. So you'd say pretty much that's where you're at too, MZC, right?
Yeah, 100%. I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, what is it like? Gameplay aside, Activision's marketing team is so good. Like, they never miss. Like, the trailers are amazing, teasers are amazing. The way they like have these, you know, real life situations of like, was it the guild, whoever it was? Like, I think the guild's gonna be kind of, from a story perspective in BO7, I think the campaign's gonna be kind of shit from a story perspective. But the marketing leading up to BO7 has been, when they've done it, is amazing. It's only gonna get better as the year goes on. They've found with BO6, every other card, it's been amazing. So I know it's kind of left in there or whatever, but I just want to give a quick shout out to like the marketing team at Activision. They are so good.
Fair enough. All right, Kingman, kind of wrapping up here. I want to give you the floor one last time here. What are you working on? What's coming up in the future? What's the vision of Kingman moving forward look like? I know you do some other stuff too. Kind of, you know, looking into your background and stuff like that for this episode. I know it's you do music and stuff like that on the side. Anything outside of zombies? You know, what's coming up next for Kingman for the audience to be on the lookout for?
Well, it's gonna be a little quiet for the next couple months. I'm gonna be doing a couple streams here and there, whatever, CODNX, maybe some stuff this week for marketing. Also working on music on the side. Working on a big video right now. Should be out in a couple weeks. It's gonna be a big one, like 90 plus minutes. I started editing like yesterday. I'm only maybe a third of the way done, but it's gonna be a big one. So you'll see around. I'll start marketing it a bit later, or in a couple weeks. I'll start marketing it, but it's a big one. Increase production values, streams, do some networking, do some stuff with other creators, like I'm doing here. It's gonna be a little quiet. I'm not gonna be as consistent as I've been for the last month, definitely. I want to do Battlefield. If I can get a group of people to get together for Battlefield 6, I'll stream that, maybe a little bit. Maybe Borderlands, that comes out next week. I want to play Helldivers, more Helldivers. I got back into it, yesterday or 2 days ago. I was playing with guys I graduated high school with. We were playing that a little bit, and I haven't gone up against the Hive Lord yet, but I'm hoping to do it soon. And I want to play Silk Song. I didn't play the original Hollow Knight, but I've been hearing Silk Song's really good. So, if I have free time, I'll start editing this massive video, which is going to be over an hour and a half long. I want to play that. I'm hearing it's really good. So, and obviously, I guess my day job, if we want to put in some personal life stuff. Day job, fun, great, whatever. But, yeah, should be a busy couple months, but don't expect too much public stuff on my channel until at least probably late October, I'd say. But we'll see what happens.
We'll be on the lookout for that big upload. Sounds interesting. Sounds intriguing. MZC, final words here before we wrap up.
Kingman, dude, I appreciate you taking the time to come on, man. We've been talking about trying to get you on for a couple of weeks, honestly, in the background. Thankfully, Zone X was kind of the bridge there for us. But yeah, I really appreciate the insight into speedrunning, because I watched some things, but I'm not deep into the community and that side of the community. So it's really, really interesting and very appreciated to kind of get your, not only your background on things, but also the knowledge and expertise that you bring to the table in this specific area of the community. So I appreciate you taking the time to come on the podcast, man. It means a lot to us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, Clutch Squad, if you're still here with us, like button, comment down below. Any questions for future episodes, guests we should have on the future, like Kingman, this fine gentleman we've had here today. Anything else, make sure you're hitting that notification bell. Make sure you're locked in. There's going to be, like we talked about, more marketing, more stuff coming out for Black Ops 7 here in the future. We'll have all Kingman's links down below in the description. Make sure you go check him out on all socials, X, YouTube, all that good stuff. If you've never watched any speedrunning, go over there, check it out. I guarantee it's something you'll be interested in, just because of how cool it is to watch, you know, some of these top guys like Kingman himself beat these maps in such a quick time. But We appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. Perkaholics Anonymous podcast, episode 14 in the books. And make sure you're staying hydrated out there. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.